Morning, everybody. Michelle is here. Michelle is here 12/21/2024 on a Saturday. Wow. No wonder it's kind of quiet because usually I hear the kids. There's a lot more traffic going on and the kids are running and just kind of, you know, doing the best they can, I guess, to deal with the circumstances that they're dealt with. Because if a lot of us think about our childhoods, honestly, we realize a lot of things are there. A lot of memories of those situations are there, but not the necessary, entanglement with it. Our thoughts, cause us to kind of regurgitate certain experiences in our lives that we've had. And some focus on the good times, some focus on the bad times, and a lot of people focus on their abuse or their trauma and their pain. That's happening in your thoughts, okay? It's not, in other words, everything's stored away, but we keep going to that part in our library of memories, and we always bring up that same incident of trauma or whatever it is, even though there's other things in your library that you could be focusing on. I hope that makes sense. So everything's is thought based, is my point. And we just have to work on how to connect properly and reconnect da 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 da. Some books that you read before, just it's like a metaphor. I love to read books, okay? And I can remember having so many in my possession, I could not take it all with me. And so I had to let it go. And that's the same thing with everything else in your life. Once you start building up, it's hard to move forward when you're stacked with a lot of, just imagine having hundreds of books. Where am I going to put anything else? So I had to leave those books behind. Even though I love those books, hey, I had to leave them behind. I returned them to the library, So use, like I said, use your life experiences as a metaphor. And then you'll probably get it. And say, well, why am I holding on to so much pain? Why am I holding on to so much trauma? Why am I holding on to so much abusive experiences when there's so many other books to read? And that's that process of develop, because it's hard to develop when you got other stuff blocking your way. If you got a pile of books, you won't see the newest edition of something that may be extremely beneficial to you. So I've been doing these videos, a series of videos on the interpersonal relationship. And, these are just breadcrumbs. It's going to require a whole lot more interactive, more so face-to-face or groups-to-groups. I know a lot of people are just doing everything they can on the internet or on these social media platforms to reach you. And I told you, you cannot fool your consciousness. So, yeah, it may sound fantastic for some of the stuff that people say or the advice they give. But what usually happens, and we all know this, and I have to say, be kind and gentle. No one has to know this, but we usually fail. We fail all the time. We're constantly failing. Okay, but those are the opportunities. I'm telling you, those are the opportunities. And for so long, for thousands of years, millennia, we have been missing opportunities to bring the pieces together, whether it's our interpersonal relationships or any type of involvement, in our interaction on this planet. We keep missing the pieces. We keep missing the opportunities, and we fail to put the pieces together. I know a lot of people fail all the time. And of course, they're not going to admit it, and you don't need to. I told you some things, because you will be exploited. That's the point. We've allowed a certain level of our privacy to evade us. And a lot of people are doing everything they can to kind of bring it back together and regain the sacredness of who they are, what they are, and why they are, and understand that, yes, mistakes are a prerequisite. It's necessary, But you don't need to have all this other stuff interfering with that. Just keep it all safe, where within you, whereas no one has to know. The safest place for anything, as an individual, is within. That is your safe space, actually. We've just allowed people to pull pieces of us, and pull us in so many directions, and that we are like scattered everywhere, and that's crazy making. Actually, it's crazy making. So when it comes to our interpersonal relationships, a lot of them have been severed. A lot of them have been severed, and I say to you, don't be so concerned about that. Be concerned about where you are right now. How are you grounding yourself right now? Do you feel, if you're not feeling safe and you don't have trust in yourself, that's more of a problem than worrying about whether I'm going to meet somebody or that I'm going to stay single. It becomes noise. All that stuff about I'm not looking for someone, I want to be single. That's all noise. Okay, that's a lot of noise. Just kind of tone that down, change the sounds and tones of that, and not make that an issue, because you're going to resonate with who you're going to resonate with. Okay, you will. There's not a goddamn thing you're going to be able to do about it. And so if you keep relying on outside sources to link you up, so to speak, and that's with anything in your life, whether it's your career, whether it's your job, whether it's just your lifestyle, whether it's this or that and the other. If you don't stop interfering so much, then you'll see openings, and then you can escape and get out of that, get out of that spin. That insanity. It's insanity. And the sad thing about it, and I'm going to keep saying this, and I'm not attempting to be disrespectful, but a lot of psychiatrists, psychologists only understand the spin. They don't know what it means to heal. They have no idea for what it means to heal for you. Okay, they have no idea what that means and what that looks like and what that sounds like. Only you will know that. Okay, and that has to be the part that's sacred. Okay, share it with you. You can share it with your partner, your significant other, but just and you'll be so you'll know. That's what I say. When you know, and you'll know who you can trust, because you trust yourself. If you can trust yourself, you'll know who you'll allow in your space. Okay, that person is not there to harm you. They don't want anything from you. They just necessarily enjoy sometimes just to be in your presence. And there are some people like that. I just enjoy being in your presence. I don't want anything. You know what I mean? Unless that's part of the adventure, and and the journey, and but a lot of us just need to get out of each other's way. And the most important thing is get out of each other's way. We're going to have to, a lot of us we're going to have to peel ourselves back from this self-created virtual reality of who we are on these social media platforms. That was the whole idea with the particular, if you can remember, a lot of people have forgotten that was the whole idea with the particular social media platform, is to have you geared up, with your eyes with eyes blocked, your head, these helmets on your head, and you're supposed to sit on your couch and have a virtual reality, a simulation, a matrix-like experience. Okay, and a lot of us almost fell for it. Some have, unfortunately. I mean, that's all they do is sit on their computers all day and play video games. They're in a self-created simulation. The Matrix is a self-created simulation. We live in an actual, genuine, bona fide reality. Okay, and the scientists need to get on board on that. Get on board and start helping. So start helping humanity instead of grabbing at opportunities to exploit people, and build, make billions of monopoly money. If we actually understood what was going on with our financial institution right now, a lot of people will probably kill themselves. And I say that literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. Okay? It's not going on as they think it's going on. Or because you say somebody has this much wealth, that's speculative, and that's illusionary, and it's delusional and hallucination. Okay? It really is. And so if you can't snap out of it and just grab hold of what you can manage and just keep moving forward. Most people are not walking the talk. Most people are not walking the talking. They're just looking around and seeing if you are. And in most cases, you're not. So they can keep this illusion going. That's why you see a lot of these so-called back in the day, oh gosh, what were they? I think they were called self-improvement back in the day. I can't remember. But you notice a lot of them are coming back. You know what I mean? A lot of them, the money has run out. You know what I mean? The money's gone. Some of them are barely making ends meet. Okay, so, and, because they knew they didn't recognize that, eventually the veil was going to be, lifted, that everything was going to be pulled back and exposed. You know what I mean? And that's what's happening, with people that were intentionally participating in criminal negative energy. And that means deception and manipulation. That's part of it. Jealousy and envy, too. A lot of people are attempting to spin jealousy and envy and kind of make it seem as though it's a badge of honor to be jealous and envy. You know what I mean? I noticed that as well. And all that is crazy making. Oh. So many people, sadly, are going to drive themselves insane if they're not already. Meaning they're going to be unreachable because they are just scrambling eggs in their head about stuff. They're just attempting to be fashionable. They're attempting to be hip. They're attempting to be relevant. And they don't understand the power of words. Jealousy and envy is an internal thing that has to be worked out with the individual only. Okay, the individual can get the guidance on how to resolve that. Okay, so that's why I said we just have to take back our sacredness, take back our privacy. We don't have to share everything about what we're doing inside. Okay, no one has to know. Okay, and to be going out there spinning words, and that's what a lot of the charlatans do. These fraudulent, because I see a lot of them coming back. It's like, oh my God, where were you 10 years ago? After they fleeced people, and yeah, they may have made millions and billions of dollars 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but the funds are running out for some. But it's still an opportunity for others like myself to prosper. Okay, you just have to know what kind of games people are playing. A lot of people are lying to you. Is my point. They're lying to you about their wealth. They're lying to you about their extravagant, the extravagant nature of their reality. They're lying about that. So I sensed that my series of videos as guys are going to help people to snap out of it, and then, like I said, I'm going to do some individual one-on-ones, and then I'm going to talk in groups. I'm going to talk live. I'm going to talk on the internet. I'm going to make myself available as best I can to help the few that I can, the few that I can. And it's going to be such a sad reality because, a lot of people are going to put, like I said, develop, or if they have not already, they're going to show more signs of this self-created man-made dementia where they're like an empty shell. They know how to smile on cue. You tell them to smile, okay, and you tell them to laugh. They're I just don't know how to describe it, but it's very sad to see. If you've been around people that've had there's some gray areas about dementia in itself, we've been taught that it starts in the womb of the biological woman. And if you think about that, whatever's going on in the environment of the biological woman, your mother, will affect you inside of her. You are connected to this, so you're like a piece of that. So you're gonna, and that's what they call genetics. Some genetic components are there's not much you can do about it. Let's see, genetics. It says it's a study of genes that are hereditary, is important in biology because Oh, this is somebody's yeah, but we understand genetics, don't we? We ought to, do the best you can to understand some of these things, because I told you there's a biology of things, and there's a reason why we are confused with our biology components and what separates us from humans and beasts and animals and creatures and blah blah blah, and what separates us from this so-called ape theory, so don't be afraid, or the DNA structures or whatever. So do not be afraid of silence. You can be in the presence of someone, and if you're comfortable with that person, they can accept your silence. You don't have to always have some type of verbal conversation going with someone. If the energy is right, you feel safe with that person. You feel safe just sitting there in silence if you want to. You feel safe, in whatever activity you choose to have. You can have that with someone. You're in your aloneness, which is necessary, and whoever decides to be in your life, it's not troubling them. That's how it was with my family, my dad and my mom. They were two contrasting styles of people, and when it was necessary for them to come together, they would come together. Otherwise, they were doing their own separate things. So just and I think it's a great idea to work on kind of bringing your circle of people down. Let go people. Like I said, it's like a book. You can only hold, for someone to say they got 100 close friends, I'm a little 5 maybe, 3 maybe, that you, if you need it. I have enough of what I need. But I just say this to others who are, because what will start happening is they're going to start draining all your energy. The more things you have plugged into you, the more energy that's drained. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and start right now. It's Evolution of the Consciousness, the interpersonal relationship series. I'm going to just keep adding to it until I, because I got plenty of things. And the thing is that you cannot hold on to everything and wait to be compensated for it. There has to be a balance there. Okay, there has to be a balance. So, some things are free and some things are not. And so this is going to be part 14, pitfalls of the interpersonal relationships. So I'm going to go ahead and send peace and love all over the stars and moon and mountains. At the end of the day, it's about universal love. It's about universal love. Capture it, share it, and trust me, I'll be back.